Hello everyone, we are going to do the essay presentation. First is my part, is the effects of increasing the minimum wage. This is the meaning of minimum wage, is lowest hourly wage per hours. And the setting a minimum wage is a very challenging task, so especially whether the minimum wage should be raised is a very controversial issue. So these essays I will analyze the impact of raising the minimum wage from different perspectives. First, from the firm's perspective, which is labor demand side. With those assumptions, the firm's employee expenditure equation is say equal ETW 加ETW plus EE. The price of change the working hours of each employee is WE, but the price of change the number of labels is WT plus E, so which is larger than WE. So the firms will choose to increase the working hours of each employee instead of change the number of labels. This is a specific model analyze. With minimum wage level increase, marginal cost of production also increase. The budget line will change from this dark curve to the orange line, so the firm will reduce the production. The scale effect is move from point P to Q in the short run, but in the long run, there will have the substitution effect. The move from Q to R, firm will substitute the labels in employment with capital. So totally in this case, the employment will reduce a lot from P to R, and on the contrary, this is we raise the minimum wage level by 5%, which will cause the working hours of each label T will rise by same level, but the price of E, the number of labels will rise less than this level. So compared to T, the labels, the E becomes relatively cheaper. So there will have a substitution effect between T and E. So the firm will increase the label employment, will have more labels. From the perspective of workers, the labor supply side, we use these models. For the labels whose income is below the minimum wage levels, like D and C, the rise of minimum wage level to WM, the workers will choose to work less than before, and they also can get the higher utility at point A. And for the labels like B, whose wage is above the minimum wage, and usually they work a lot, the rise of minimum wage level will have less effect on them, so they will stay the same, and they won't change but if the firm well they want to maintain the wage differentials and or the increase the productivity of those labels, they also can choose to they also will raise the wage level of those labels like B. So those labels also can choose to work a lot, work more, work less, or work stay the same. Also can get the same utility. This is a related research which is Seattle's these cities increase the city's minimum wage to $15 per hour, which hope to improve the lives of low-income workers. Normally, as we analyzed, the employment will reduce, but in this they found employment overall did not change. That was because employer replaced low-paying jobs with high-paying jobs. The number of workers making over $19 per hour increased a lot, while the number of making less than this amount declined. For example, a restaurant in Seattle, they respond to this minimum wage. They hiring more skilled and experienced workers. So there is no one minimum wage effect. The effect of a minimum wage depends on a lot of things, and the effect of raising the minimum wage also may vary by time and place, different time and place. It also can be depends on what kind of economy you want to develop. There is no one minimum wage effect. Next.
Hello everyone, I'm Rich Li. I will introduce Chinese labor market after COVID-19 outbreak. In January 2020, an outbreak of COVID-19 occurred in Wuhan city. Also, situation is better now. It had an impact on the Chinese economy, one of which is the labor market. On the labor supply side, firstly, part of the enterprise logistic limited, shortage of raw material supply, financial price, and so on. Then they decide to reduce the pressure on the business by laying off staff. Secondly, China is a very important role among the global supply chain. Many companies are slow to return to work, and some are even shutting down. Reduced parts production and slower logistics let companies unable to keep up with orders for the retail. After that, foreign companies, to ensure they can cope with similar risk, may scale down their factory in China and spread them out in other parts of the world to keep their supply chains in order. Reducing the size of China's factories leads to layoff. In both cases, layoff lead to work losing their job and have to find new ones for living, which lead to an increase in the supply of labor, shown as Figure 1. Increasing of labor supply shift supply curve to the right, S to S1, wage rate will drop to W1, quantity will rise to Q1. On the labor demand side, COVID-19 has accelerate or lead to the bankruptcy of some companies. The bankruptcy of enterprise lead to a decrease in the demand for labor. In addition, as mentioned on the supply side, foreign firms, the shrinking size of Chinese factory will also reduce the demand for labor. Showing as figure 1, decreasing of labor demand shift demand curve to the left, D to D1. Wage rate will drop to W2 and quantity will decrease to Q2. How to solve it? The most important is the enterprise. The enterprise is the source of employment. Therefore, the government should help enterprise to tide over the difficult. For example, reduce taxes, giving reward to the enterprise which do not lay off. In addition, the government can also give subsidy to the employed and provide them with more job information. That's all. Thank you.